Well, Happy New Year, everybody. How many of you were with us for Christmas Eve? Let me see your hands. Yeah, we had a nice crowd. It was funny at the elders meeting a few weeks before Christmas Eve. My question to the guys was, you guys, I'm Jewish, so I don't know the answer to this. You tell me, how popular are Christmas Eve services? Should we even have one? Doug said, oh yeah, they're very popular. We should have one. I said, all right, we'll have one. And then so we decided to have it, and I was just like wondering who'd show up. And we had a ton of people in here. We had more people in here than I think we've ever had. And for Christmas Eve. So I'm looking forward to next year already. I don't know what to do, but we had a blast. Wasn't it fun? I really enjoyed the mix of music we had and singing Feliz Navidad. That was my favorite part of the night. So it's a new year, and I wanted to bring to you some information from the Bible that could help set your year straight. That's why we're doing the Financial Peace University too. It's perfect time to start fresh. And so my thought was, in teaching the Bible, a new year, a new you, what are the things that are very important to us? Things that we can look at what the Bible says, apply them, and maybe have a better year than we've ever had before. And I came up with 4 topics that I think are extremely important to people. The first one is finances. Finances are extremely important to all of us. So how do we handle our finances God's way? So that's our first lesson. Today is finances. A new year, a new you, my finances. Next week, my family. Week after that, my education. This will be for you and your kids. And then after that, my spirit. So these 4 topics pretty much accomplish everything we need to do for the year. And I've got an acrostic that Bryce helped me put together for each of the lessons. So, for today, my finances, we're going to be smart with our finances. S-M-A-R-T is going to be our acrostic to be smart with our finances. Next week, we're going to deal with family. It's all about people. So next week's acrostic is people. Smart people. Then comes education. My education. Seek. Smart people seek. And then the 4th lesson is my spirit. And the acrostic for that lesson will be God. So for the 4 weeks, smart people seek God. Today we're looking at smart. The S in smart. Well, let me read to you a story and see if you can figure it out. It's one of Aesop's fables. Now, Aesop, by the way, just to put some historical perspective to him, he lived about 500 BC. Now, it might have been 455 or something like that, but that gives you right about where his time frame was. 500 BC. 500 BC was the golden age of Greece. 500 BC was when Israel was destroyed, carried off to Babylon, stayed there for 70 years, and then came back again. So when Greece is having her golden age, Israel had hers 500 years even before that. That should give you some biblical and historical perspective. When Aesop lived, we had guys like Ezra, Esther, Nehemiah, Zechariah. Those were the people who were alive. Here's his story. In a field one summer's day, a grasshopper was hopping about, chirping and singing to its heart's content. An ant passed by, bearing along with great toil an ear of corn he was taking to the nest. "Why not come chat with me," said the grasshopper, "instead of toiling and moiling away in that fashion?" "Well, I'm helping to lay up food for the winter," said the ant, "and I recommend you do the same." "Why bother about winter?" said the grasshopper. "We've got plenty of food for the present." But the ant went on its way and continued its toil. And when the winter came, the grasshopper had no food, found itself dying of hunger, while it saw the ants distributing day after day corn and grain from the stores they had collected in the summer. Then the grasshopper knew. If you know anything about Aesop, it always ends with a moral. Here's your moral. It's best to prepare for the days of necessity. Smart people. If you want to handle your finances in a smart way, the S for smart is store some up. I'm not talking about hoarding some up. That's different. Just put a bit aside because a rainy day might happen. And in this Financial Peace University, Dave Ramsey is going to show you how to do that and tell you how much you should put aside. It's very smart because you just never know. How many % of the people did he say in that clip are living paycheck to paycheck? Do you realize that means if you lose your job, you lose your house? That's not good. And a lot of us are in that boat. We need to get out of that boat. So the S in SMART, store some, maybe 2 years ago, If you'd asked me, Steve, how do I invest my money? I would have told you the two best ways, the most conservative ways, money that never fails: stocks and real estate. Exactly. Making wise choices isn't always easy. But there are a couple of biblical principles that you can always apply, regardless of the market, regardless of the economy. Wise choices. The first one, do your best to avoid debt. Avoid debt. Proverbs 22:7 says this: borrow money, and you are the lender's slave. Bible encourages us to avoid debt. Romans 13:7, pay all that you owe, whether it's taxes, fees, even respect and honor. Let love be your only debt. Well, when we talk about family, we'll talk more about love. But right now, God is trying to tell us it's unwise to get into debt. Now, sometimes we can't help it. I understand that. But avoid debt if at all possible. The M in SMART is make wise choices. Wise choice number 1, avoid debt. Try not to borrow. Wise choice number 2, try not to lend. You're thinking, wait a minute, why wouldn't I lend to my friends? Shakespeare wrote this in Hamlet: neither a borrower nor a lender be, for loan oft loses both itself and friend. Here's what happens. I've seen this. This happens. You've probably seen it. Somebody comes up to you one day, dear friend of yours, been friends all your life. They've helped you out of jams. You've helped them out of jams. They come up to you one day and say, had a really hard time. I can't pay my electric bill. And my mortgage, I've only got half the money for that. Can you lend me $500 till payday? I just need it to carry me for 2 weeks. And you're like, oh man, I don't have $500. But I'm your best friend, I know, but $500, it's like my life savings. I swear I'll get it back to you in 2 weeks. Okay, but I got to have it back in 2 weeks or I'm going to be in the same boat you're in. I swear. All right, so you give them the $500. 2 weeks comes around, your electric bill's due, your mortgage is due, and you go calling them up. They say, oh man, I'm sorry, I just got laid off. I don't have the money. I'm so sorry. Oh, thanks a lot. You promised. What can I do? I don't have it. So now you go frantically calling your mom and your dad, trying to figure out how you're going to pay your bill. And then you squeeze by, you humble yourself before people, you beg for some indulgence. A week or two passes and you call your friend again. I need that money. I'm hurting here. I'm sorry, I haven't found a new job. I can't pay you back. So you start calling them every few days for your money. They stop answering your phone calls. Not because they're evil people. They just don't have the money, and they feel bad about it. And you just become a creditor to them. Now you've lost your money and your friend. How many of you have seen that happen? I'm not asking if it's you, but you've seen it happen. You see what I'm talking about? A lot of hands are up. It happens. The Bible says don't lend money. That's your biblical advice. Make wise choices. You say, what if my friend's in need? If they're in need, give them money. Give them money. So, I don't have $500. I can't give you $500, but here's $100. And don't worry about paying it back. You're my best friend. God bless you. No, I'm going to pay it back. I don't want it back. Just take it. No, I'm going to pay it back. Well, whatever. But I love you. If I could give more, I'd give you more. But I can't. Now, as far as you're concerned, that money's gone. It was a gift to God. If they bring it back, great. Keep it, make them keep it, give it to charity, or just take it back. But the idea is you're not lending to get back, because if you do that, it's bad news.